Welcome back to group stages, ladies and gentlemen, of the Season 3 World Championships, coming to you live from Los Angeles. SK Telecom will be facing off against GamingGear shortly, of course, and that's going to be the next match. But first off, I'd like to welcome OMG's mid laner, Cool, to the interview lounge. Thank you very much. Nice to see you here, and it's you've been great to watch you guys playing. To start with, I want to talk about the matchup you just had, Ahri versus Fizz, up against Nukeduck. How do you feel it went? Because it seemed to start really going in the favor of Nukeduck, but you pulled it back so well.
就是他想问一下，今天的比赛里，你是用阿里队的小鱼人，然后你觉得他们两个对线的情况是怎么样的？因为在一开始的时候，我们是很明显是落后的。
那个小鱼人对阿里的就感觉就是首先阿里是一个长手英雄嘛，然后菲兹就短手，然后英雄上面我觉得阿里要小占优势吧，然后我是利用就是那个阿里一点一点就是这样慢慢的就积累上来的优势吧，就也不是突然就有的，就
Because of the pick of the champion, he think that Fizz is like a million assassin, but Ali is a long range like a champion, so he has a little advantage in the lane phase. And by building up this little advantage, by accumulating them, he's gaining a lot of advantages. So that's why he think it's good.
Now the game started unusually slow for OMG. Obviously, the lane switch almost backfired, and San fell so far behind Tabs at the start. Was the team under pressure from the very beginning from Lemon Dogs?
就是你们一开始是换线了，然后换线了之后呢，好像情况也不是特别好。然后你是怎么看待刚开始的时候游戏的情况的？
因为我是中单，所以首先换线就是我们队一般都是上下去交流，然后我中单的话呢也没有顾到上下路的一个情况，然后我打完了才知道，就是可能前面没有想象中那么好吧，大概就是这样。
Because he's focusing on his own lane, he doesn't really pay much attention to other two lanes, so he didn't really think they are falling much behind of other to Lemon Dogs, but he thinks they played very well in the mid phase or the late phase, so it's pretty good.
Okay, yesterday you guys faced off against SKT T1. Obviously, it was a big matchup against Faker in the mid lane, worldwide known. How do you feel you stood up against Faker and against the rest of the mid laners in the world? I guess they're in this competition.
因为你已经打了好几场比赛了，你也跟其他的很多中单打过比赛，然后你觉得跟包括在 Faker 在内的其他一些中单，你觉得跟他们对线啊各种感受是怎样的？
我就最近打了3场比赛，我觉得不管是哪一个队的，就是那个中单的话，我真的觉得都很厉害，没有就是看那个英雄的克制吧，然后我觉得每个队伍的中单在训练赛比赛都有用过，所以我觉得都很厉害，
Because he has played 3 matches with 3 different teams. He think all of their mid laners are pretty good. They're very good players, and he learned a lot from each of them. And
但我觉得 Faker 还是比较更厉害一点。Faker.
Yeah, but he thinks Faker is kind of the best of them.
Yeah, I think the rest of the world also agrees with you. Thank you very much, Cool, for joining us, and good luck with the rest of the tournament. So, while all of us here in Los Angeles had a great time bringing you the World Championship games, Monty, Crepo, and Doublelift, well, they've also learned a few things along the way.
Well, Riot asked me to come out and be on the analyst desk.
Riot graciously invited me to become an analyst at the analyst desk.
I really love doing anything from analysis and eventually, hopefully, one day color casting.
I'm happy to be here and breaking down some of the games, having a little fun after the matches.
At first, I was super stiff and kind of nervous to be on camera. Never done anything like this before, you know?
Our personalities really mixed. We have a little bit of everything.
Crepo tends to be more reserved, Doublelift tends to be more outspoken, and so I think they balance each other in that way pretty well.
Doublelift and Monty are getting really good into the hate-love relationship, being coach-player. NA Korea, hype train fanboy.
Monty has to tone down his enormous ego when he's on camera. Like, it's big. Like, you don't understand. This like 5 CLG members combined, like triple that, that's Money's ego.
I wish that Doublelift knew as much about League of Legends when he plays the game as he does on this broadcast. One of the things that I was very excited about is as a caster, I have to be a lot more neutral. But here I can really unleash.
Yeah, when I said something insulting to Korean player Dandy, Money burned me and said,
So Peter, you didn't make it to Worlds, so you're practicing your stand-up career now?
oh. And I was like, ooh, like it hurt, it stung a little bit.
It's pretty interesting being at the other side of the mic right now, or at the other side of the camera. As a player, you used to be like pampered. You're luxury. You walk in, you set up, people help you, they bring you something to drink. But now you walk in, you're part of production. You get there early, you leave there late. You have these meetings. If you screw up, people will shout in your ear.
Oh yeah, at the first I was like, wow, there's like GLaDOS in my ear. She's like telling me all this crazy stuff, like you know, you're up or T minus whatever until you start speaking. And so I'm just sitting there, I'm basically just listening to instructions and getting ready to speak. It's pretty different, and I didn't know it was so complicated how much goes on behind the scenes.
The best thing about doing analysis work or anything at the desk is that I don't really have to think too much. People ask like, do you clear your mind right during the start? I'm like, no, I just sit at the desk and I just talk.
I try to avoid the word trash because it's kind of like an immature thing to just constantly throw out there. Like, it's a trademark, but I don't want to be like, that's trash, that's trash, that's trash, because people will just think I'm a dumb little kid, which I kind of am. But at the same time, I don't want to propagate that kind of message.
You know, a lot of people know Doublelift for his one-liners, but his knowledge of lane matchups in bot lane and his ability to express them is something I think everybody's appreciating now.
I think an analyst's job is to not only bring entertainment, but like teach the viewers something or talk about something that makes the viewers think.
I enjoy it a lot. It doesn't feel like work to me at all. So I'd love to explore this option more in the future.
Oh my god, yeah. As soon as I'm done being a pro gamer, I want to be a chatcaster or like do this desk thing, being an analyst or whatever it is, a host.
Of course it feels good. It's great to get support from the fans. And I'm glad that everybody's enjoying it as much as we are.
I kind of miss being over on the analyst desk. It's definitely fun with all the little jokes going back and forth. Everybody's friends, though. I do want to respond a little bit to the analysis that they did, though, because they were split on my criticisms of the Abyssal Scepters. I just want to say I think that rushing as the first item in both your solo lanes could be a little bit inefficient if Kennen had Hourglass, or if Ari had the other source of magic resist, like Athene's. And anyway.
There we go. A little bit more analysis coming through on this side as well. So it's time for our second match of the day, guys. It's Korea's SK Telecom T1 versus the international wildcard champions, Lithuania's GamingGear.eu.
Seems like all the pressure is on SKT1 to perform well in this match. They came into the tournament as favorites to win this group, but OMG pressured everywhere, and he pressured everywhere that Faker wasn't, I guess, because Faker held on to his tower, and that's how OMG came up with their win. SKT is really all about Faker so far at Worlds. He's been great. He's been involved in 25 of SKT's 26 kills. Stone cold.
Yeah, stone cold and a lot of fans, and no surprise, he's incredible to watch. And today, that incredibly tough task of shutting down Faker falls to GamingGear's Mazzerin and Alanir.
Yeah, if we do look back to Gamescom, the synergy between Mazzerin and Alanir was really the reason they were able to get past the wildcard favorites, which was Pain, and get to the spot that they're in now. So if they want to get past SKT, they're going to need to rely heavily on that combo again. I think Alanir ganking side lanes and Mazzerin roaming, coming up with some game-changing mid-game plays is really the secret here for GamingGear.
Well, everyone says that they want to go up against Faker and prove themselves, and now they've got the chance here, the guys from GamingGear. So let's have a look at the starting lineup, starting with SK Telecom T1. On the blue side, they are impacting the top lane, Bengi in the jungle, Faker in the mid lane, Piglet AD carry, and Poomandu the support.
And on the red side, it's GamingGear.eu. NBS is up top, Alanir is in the jungle, Mazzerin is mid, Deadly Brother on AD, and Inspiro on support.
I just want to remind people here who have maybe overlooked GamingGear and not really seen where they've come from, because to get into that international wildcard finals at Gamescom just, well, less than a month ago, I guess, by now,
they actually played through the CIS and Baltics qualifier that had hundreds of teams in. I think a 256 team bracket that they actually got through to get to Moscow in the first place, win there, and then get to Gamescom. So now these guys, despite having, let's be honest, a rough start in Group A so far, they can pull off upsets if you don't watch out.
Yeah, they've fought a long ways to get here.
So let's get into Champions Select and see what's going to go down on this one. Coming quickly here as we see SKT banning out Orianna, Thresh, and Renekton, 3 champions that GamingGear really have been relying on.
Yeah, the one thing they did let through is the Sona, which GamingGear put a very high priority on. They did take away, in exchange for letting them have the Sona, they've taken away that Renekton for the top lane from NBS, though. Now...
There's a lot of cheering from the crowd here as we switch through the likes of Alistair, Tryndamere, Brand. Let's not forget, GamingGear have played Tryndamere in the wildcard tournament.
Yeah, but here, they've played pretty much the same things. It's been Jarvan, Renekton, and Thresh as their core 3, and then a Trinity Force AD and an Assassin mid for Mazzerin so far. So GamingGear already changing it up. Because the Renekton was banned out, they pulled in the Aatrox. I finally get to cast an Aatrox game, but I think it will be a top lane Aatrox, which is a little bit less exciting because I love jungle.
We saw a little smile from Faker there as he trolled the crowd with that brand hanging in there, but that was switched out in the end to the Ezreal. Mordekaiser, that's not going to happen. We should talk about SKT. Zyra, Shen, Ezreal picked up for them.
Okay, so they have the disengage there from Zyra. Very, very popular support nowadays. Sona still being left up for GamingGear. I think they'll lock that in as their last support. But with the Shen as well, they do have that global pressure that's going to come from the top lane.
So, other side, Gragas, a big pick for Mazzerin, and probably his second champion to really go to after Orianna, which of course was banned out here by SKT1, and that Sona, as you said, probably 100% likelihood of that getting locked in here at this stage. Pretty familiar lineup for GamingGear.
Yeah, let's talk about this Gragas on Mazzerin, because this is actually a very big pick for them. Orianna's been banned out the whole time. He had a lot of game-changing plays on Orianna, but Gragas was his second favorite champion at Gamescom. He got a Baron steal that basically won them the game. He's got picks in the late game. He's very, very accurate with that usually risky ultimate from Gragas. If you miss the Gragas ultimate, we've already seen teams, some of the Korean teams, like Ozone, if you miss that combo, then Gragas is a very, very weak mid laner. But Mazzerin usually on point with those, and that's where a lot of GamingGear's success comes from.
Right now, SKT T1 got to be picking up the Fizz here for Faker in the mid, and a Vi. Teemo, I'm not going there.
I'm excited for a Faker Fizz, because Fizz is a flashy champion. You can pull off some very spectacular moves, and Faker is definitely the man that you want to put that champion in front of.
So cycling through the likes of Victor in there as well.
This guy, the crowd is even more excited than me for these interesting picks.
In the end, though, this Zac probably a likely choice for NBS. I'm quite surprised that Jarvan has not even been touched here, because GamingGear, they've played 2 games, both of them with Jarvan in the jungle. SK Telecom have also had Jarvan in their game against OMG.
That's why I was expecting a top lane Aatrox here, because I was assuming that they would just lock in that Jarvan, but you're right, GamingGear making a lot more changes than we initially thought. And Corki is definitely an upgrade for them as far as Trinity Force ADs go. Shucks.
And there is the Jarvan, just as we thought from that one. So that will round out GamingGear's team, and I think a very strong team overall here, and very comfortable picks for them generally across the board.
So again, they have that same mid-game AoE damage that comes from the bottom lane. Corki, with all the missiles and Sona's Flash Crescendo ability, gives them a nice control over the mid line, where the game-changing plays really, like we said, are going to come from the Mazzerin, the long-range Gragas ultimates. They're going to hope to split up this SKT team. Meanwhile, SKT on the other side, they're looking for the Vi Fizz combo. That means somebody's dead right there.
Yeah, and, well, for GamingGear, they've got to try and avoid that one, but usually when you see Vi coming, kind of too late. You need to predict where Vayne's coming. That's the real key point to that one. So it's two very strong teams here on very different stages of their whole tournament, I'd say. Obviously, SKT T1 not having the best start to things. They're losing out there to OMG. On the other side for GamingGear, they're rock bottom right now. And hopefully this day off that they had yesterday, they've really managed to group and talk about things and get over what I think were a lot of nerves as well for them.
They don't seem too down, though. It seems like they're in good spirits right now. And the other thing that goes in with that, but it's going to be devastating when they get to the back line.
Well, then, let's have a look then at you guys and what you've been thinking about this one. Something tells me it's not going to be too close. LolEsports.com says 93% of you believe in SKT to win this one. All the analysts said SKT as well. I guess I'm going to have to go with GamingGear just to be the possibly one person in the world, along with the other 7 that are right.
All right, guys, write that one down. Joe is for GamingGear here. Let's keep track of his scores.
That doesn't count onto the caster's total. I will just throw that out there right now. So let's get into game then. It is SK Telecom T1 versus GamingGear. An incredible matchup. We're hoping SKT, they could be angry coming into today's play after that ropey game against OMG, though.
And GamingGear, they have had very, sporadic spots of brilliance. In the mid-game, they've had some team fights where they win when they're already down by like 10K gold, yet they still come out ahead in one of those later game team fights. So they do have the ability to even win after they're already behind. So if they can get off to a good start, then maybe you and that 7% of the fans could show everybody that they've put all their eggs in this SKT basket erroneously.
I got you, 7%. We're good for this one. Right now, GamingGear are down on the bottom side of SKT's jungle. SKT were up in the top side of GamingGear's jungle. See that those wards closely identical on both sides of the map. One difference, however, is that GamingGear already had a ward there by red and spotted them moving around.
So they will have knowledge, but you're right. Those are the sort of classic dual red side invades. I mean, SKT1 are the ones that have the lane ward, so they'll see Aatrox going up top. And Aatrox as the top laner, the reason that Wicked really likes him so much, because you can make use of that passive very early, go for a turret dive and a flashy kill early, and then once you have your ultimate, popping that with the extra attack speed you get from charging up Bloodwell means he's a beast at taking down turrets if ever left alone.
So there's a red buff taken from Alanir, and a very quick one at that, using his smite here to get that one away, actually leaving up part of the camp as well. So Bengi's going to come around and have to reset that one a little bit later on.
And because of that Tribush ward, they saw the exit of Alanir out of the jungle, so Bengi's not wasting much time here. He's not going to even go check his red, knows that it was stolen away, and he will answer here with the GamingGear red.
So look at that statistic there for Mazzerin. 100% win rate with Gragas from that wildcard tournament. We'll see if that can continue today. Certainly, I think a different caliber of opponents that he's going up against. It's Faker in the middle, after all.
Faker's definitely a different caliber. Maybe be in his own league even. I don't know how many people can stack up against him. He will be going up against Reginald later in the day, so he has not faced all of the international mids.
We'll see about that one. I'm sure Reggie's really excited about that one as well.
He actually is really excited. He's not super confident, but he's very excited.
Excited, at least. So we saw there a bit of counter jungling going on. And I say a bit, I mean really a lot, actually.
Yeah.
We've got the entire time Bengi on the top side of the GamingGear jungle. Alanir's down on the bottom side, and he's actually moving down now to that bottom side of this bottom lane. So we'll see if he can actually get in here. They've spotted him, though, from that Tribush ward.
Ooh, good flash there from MBS. Gets out of the Vault Breaker range from Bengi. And there was no, late flash there from Bengi. You can actually Vault Breaker flash and still land it, but you have to instantly react. It's very, very difficult to do. Now Aatrox, with no flash, will have to worry. He does not have wards up top either. And with Alanir not backing yet, he's not going to be able to supply wards for Aatrox.
So this mid lane then, Mazzerin on Gragas versus Faker on Fizz, and Mazzerin got a slight CS lead, got actually a level lead there. We saw him hitting level 4 that little bit earlier than what Faker's done, and Mazzerin generally being good with this one, but Alanir right now is down in this bottom lane, hammering away on towards Piglet. They switch around, Deadly Brother going very, very low from this one. Piglet forced to flash away. Deadly Brother has managed to walk, but now they turn around. They're going in on towards Alanir. Are they going to be able to get across?
Flash.
Here is Bengi moving across. They've got a ward for vision on towards Alanir. Right now it looks like they might be able to get back to the turret. There's the grasping roots on Inspiro, and he does get back to safety.
That exchange right there just reminded me that Bengi, or Piglet actually, you know, he's running Ignite with the Ezreal. So he's definitely looking to Arcane Shift forward into the fights for cleanup, as opposed to backward. But Deadly Brother was the one, the ADK right there, overextending a little bit. Almost cost him his life. But nobody goes down. SKT1 are able to shove the wave into a turret, which is going to allow some CS to be lost right there for GamingGear.
So Bengi on his way, and he's like, look at that. Camp all up. Bad times. So, and we'll clear that one out. This top lane, despite that early pressure from Bengi, you know, MBS, no flash, but Aatrox's generally going to be that little bit safer with the ability to jump away, get his slows down, and have that passive for use if needs be.
Yeah, Bengi having to clear out those small lizards from the lizard camp means that he knows Alanir doesn't have the timer on his red. So I don't think that there will be a repeat invade from Alanir on the second respawn of that red. But Bengi's going to be aware of that, so they can actually take advantage of around the 7-minute mark. We've seen a lot of these Korean teams go for secondary invades on the buff spawns.
So Alanir just had a bit of a visit towards mid. Faker actually recalling from there, and he's going to come back into lane with double Doran's rings. Got himself some wards as well, so should be able to set things up for Bengi to actually get in there and have an impact.
Yeah, and like you said, we're coming up on that 7-minute mark. So with Faker timing his recall already at 6 minutes, he's going to be ready with that power spike of the dual Doran's rings, but he's also bought pink ward and green ward, coming to clear out so much vision from that mid lane. You can see even Bengi as well as Ezreal doing their part, buying these pink wards. They are going to spam vision in this bottom side, which is very dangerous for GamingGear.
We saw Mandu there, and Piglet taking a bit of a blast from Inspiro. Right now, Bengi is waiting inside of the tri-bush. They're going to spot him. They've spotted him there coming around. Right, and then they just back away. He uses his pink ward there so they can clear out that vision of that bottom lane. It's going to leave GamingGear now a little bit more conscious as to where they are positioned in that lane.
Interesting. So Bengi going bottom with the gank. He's able to tell that GamingGear have a ward in that side bush because they started moving back only when Bengi got into vision of that river ward. He drops his pink up there to clear that one and allows Piglet to use his pink ward to clear side bush. So now Piglet and Pumandu have side bush control as well, which is very important for Zyra with the skill shot CC.
Well, the funny thing is he put his pink ward down on that top side bush, but there's a pink on the bottom side as well. They're kind of missing each other on that one. There's Bengi's statistics right now for Vi. 100% win rate. Certainly the kind of win rate that you don't mess around with. As Mandu putting down more damage. He's around about half HP himself, so they need to be careful not to go too far.
Up top, they've timed the flash here from MBS. It's about to run out. So Bengi's making moves up there, but they've already been able to fill in a ward easily bypassed by Vi with the dash that she has. And NBS, he's got another 20 seconds left on his flash. He won't have it for the gank.
There is the taunt coming in. Where's MBS going? He's actually headed around the other side. Will pop his ultimate here. Jumps over towards that tri-bush. Already taking a good chunk of damage going through that turret. Is Faker going to come up to this one? You can see that Mazzerin started to work his way down. And MBS, where's he going to go from here?
He could have gotten out if they had a mid ward for vision. But since Faker went to farm the Wraith camp, he thought Faker was coming to cut him off. And he burns his flash again. He wanted to burn his flash to try and not not give up first blood and suicide to turrets right there, but he ends up doing both.
Mazzerin there going to throw down the barrel, but Shen going to come into this one. Lands a taunt. Mazzerin is a dead man. Faker picks that one up. Meanwhile, Inspiro goes down in the bottom lane. Mando is low. Piglet's going to chase in here on towards Deadly Brother, who will have to Valkyrie back away towards that turret. And, well, when it rains, it pours here. As Alania now being troubled underneath the turret of his own. Faker tanking that one up. That'll switch off. It's going to go down. Alania picks one up there, but that's kills everywhere for SKT.
That was devastating for Gaming Gear all over the map. Aatrox dead, first blood. Aatrox passive down as well. Bengi's not done.
That's Deadly Brother, and he's going to go down for this one. Did manage to pick up Mandu in the process of that one, but still, it's another one spread across the board. Look at the kills here. 2 for Bengi, 2 for Faker, and a single one there on Piglet as well.
They have been able to trade there. Faker, because he used the damage coming down portion of his playful trickster, the trickster part, he got tower aggro and died. As well right there, Deadly Brother was able to answer, but even more important than the kills is all the CS that they pushed up and all the CS that Deadly Brother is going to lose by being dead.
So MBS, no passive at this point in the game. No flash either that was used as he tried to escape a little bit earlier on, which leaves him very, very vulnerable in this top lane. We already saw Impact there giving him a good bit of damage back after the taunt comes in. So things start to slow down somewhat. Let's have a look down the items between the AD carries. Almost a mirror image between the two, headed both up towards that Trinity Force.
Yeah, that's no surprise. Both of these are the Trinity Force AD carries. I guess Kog'Maw's in there as well if you're Genja or if you're Imp. Yeah, if you're Imp looking at Genja. Double Lift is not sold on those yet still, though.
So, across the map, we see already boots some ability in there for Bengi. That's going to make him a little bit more dangerous as he runs quicker around the map. Picking up an Oracle here 10 minutes into the game.
Wow, that's a very, very ballsy pickup. A little bit less so with the changes to Oracles because it does persist through death now. I guess that just shows confidence that they want to be able to clear out and continue to have pressure on each lane.
Deadly Brother trying to put down Piglet here, as we are going to see Stranglethorns coming in. There's a crescendo. Well, here comes Bengi from the side. They've not seen him. This could cost them. Deadly Brother surely going to be finished off. Bengi picks up another one. This will be a 2-for-1 in the end. Right. Pumandu did go down, but a 2-for-1 and 2 more kills for Bengi.
Okay, what it was Bengi was the one getting all the last hits. I forgot he was the one getting all the last hits. So the way that you exert your pressure as a jungler, if you're the one who gets all the last hits from your ganks, is that you get the mobility plus vision control of the Oracle's mobility boots combination, and that allows the first kills that your team gets to effectively pressure all lanes because your opponents don't know where the jungler is, so every single lane has to play careful or they go down just like that.
That's going to allow a dragon pickup here for SKT. We also saw a move from Impact there, going between the inner and outer turrets in that top lane and stealing away that entire wave of minions. Faker actually did start to come down, by the way, to that bottom lane to see if he could get involved in a few more kills. In the end, though, it's Bengi who's soaking them all up. Oh, yeah. MBS and Impact here gonna have a bit of a fight with each other. Actually, Alanir is coming around the side as well. Impact pretty tanky already with that Sunfire Cape in there. He's not actually seen Alanir coming down, so this could be deadly as Jarvan does come around there. Impact down to below half HP. He's going to try and stand United away, and he is going to get away. Wow, brilliant from Impact. Straight to base. Nice recall.
He's got a good shield down there, ready to buy. It is going to give them the tower pushing power that we talked about for Aatrox, and that combined with Jarvan will be enough for Gaming Gear to claim the first turret of the game.
First turret of the game for Gaming Gear there. Exactly, or not quite exactly 3,000 gold behind, but certainly close enough from that one. Bengi here going to get things kicked off on the blue buff. We'll see Faker come around and collect that one for himself. On the other side, Gaming Gear's blue buff is available for the taking as well for Mazzerin.
Yeah, Bengi actually doing a very good job of showing why it's a good thing to let your junglers have the kills, because they can visit all of the lanes and pressure the entire map because of the early roaming advantage that they have. And I also like that he's building into that spirit of the ancient golem on Vi because it will give him some HP to make him a bit more tanky and tenacity for him to allow him to get out. But cooldown reduction is really the best way to scale a jungle Vi as they contest for this blue here. There's enough pinks on GamingGear though that they are able to chase off SKT. Anyway, cooldown reduction is amazing for Vi because proccing her denting blows is the way you get so much damage.
Oh, that not great from Piglet, the aim on that one, but that turret going down very, very low there and will be finished off here along with that one as well. Piglet just trying to run as much of those minions down low as he can to prevent Deadly Brother getting the farm. Blue buff actually is still up there, so in the end they decided not to fully challenge for that one unless they left the camp up somewhat. No, it is still there, so SKT going to come around. GamingGear looking like they're not quite so happy with giving it away though.
Sona's definitely committing to this one. She's cutting off Bengi.
They're all coming around from this one. Bengi down to half. There's a strangle launch. Crescendo moved away from Mazzerin's barrel. Will push Bengi away from danger. Mandu will die. And now Piglet is the one that's going to be in trouble. He's looking to get over the wall. Arcane Shift will do that. Inspiro goes down. Piglet actually sniping him off there with a Q. And I don't think they're done from this one. Bengi has come back into the fight. Deadly Brother going to get initiated onto. And that is another kill coming in. Actually did manage to finish off by. And now Faker is very, very low. It's still going though. He dives back in. Mazzerin takes him down. Piglet flash away from Mazzerin. Can he finish off Jarvan? Where's the slide? Oh, it doesn't matter. You finish it off there anyway. And wow, a turnaround, a 3 for 2 there in the end. Actually, it was a 4 for 2 really because Mandu died right at the very start.
This is a great foothold here for GamingGear. All started from Inspiro going around behind them. Even though he missed the crescendo and Mazzerin's ultimate knocked away Vi because of the positioning of Faker, not rotating down. They had the early champion advantage here. We do get the... Okay, let's go back to the game because Alanir almost died. But yeah, they had the early champion advantage with one extra champion there. So even though the ultimate's not the hugest effect for GamingGear, they were able to focus their damage, take down Zyra very early, and come out ahead in that.
The fact that they're keeping up here in kills shows that GamingGear not ready to roll over and give up on this one by any stretch of the imagination. We've got the Dragon coming back up here in 1 minute and 40 seconds time as well. A distinct lack of wards, pink wards in particular, down there on that side, which I'm sure will change here in a few as we see that both Alanir and Deadly Brother do have those pinks, and Inspiro as well, as you maybe expect at this stage from the support. So they're certainly going to be able to get those pinks in position. Whether they're willing to fight there or not is a different matter.
It looks like they're definitely not going to give up this vision battle, and it shows because that's how, you know, they got that one little advantage in the last blue buff fight. The thing that's really scary here though is that SKT have hit the Lich Bane and Trinity Force spike at the exact same time here. So the Fizz and the Ezreal are extremely scary right now. And they also have Shen stand united. So whatever move SKT want to make on the map, it's going to be GamingGear having to play a little bit defensively and trying to answer this SKT aggression.
Well, that Dragon now less than a minute away. MBS, is he going to come down for this one? You can certainly expect that a 5-man presence is what GamingGear are going to be planning for in this one. A couple of wards there put down in middle just to keep vision up for SKT. They're actually going to lose their tower here in this mid lane. That's going to put GamingGear back in the lead when it comes to towers, and they're not done. They're still pushing.
They're getting very deep here. If SKT collapse, they have the advantage in this team fight. Deadly Brother still has 12,000 gold sitting on him. His Trinity Force has not been completed.
Oh, they've held up Inspiro there. And the grasping roots. Bengi moving forward. Shen can get involved as we see Ezreal come around this bottom side again. GamingGear are actually headed down towards the Dragon position now, so they're going to set things up. Double ping ward, not ideal, but they're going to have that vision nonetheless. They start it off.
They're burning it down very quickly here. SKT have my ulti. There we go.
Bengi going to go in. They've gone for Deadly Brother. There's a crescendo coming back. Strangle Thorns knock 2 of them up. Inspiro, Alanir, they're both dead in this one. There comes the barrel from Gragas very late in the fight, but look at Faker. He's gone low. Bengi picks up the Dragon right in the middle of everything. This fight a little bit split. double kill coming down in the end from Impact. Mazzerin, the only one to walk away from it with the Dragon going on to SKT. That's a lot of gold right there.
I think GamingGear should have taken their exit when they got away from their mid push. Now Mazzerin still pushed up here, and it is still dangerous. Even though Vi and Shen ultis are down, he's got to be careful.
Piglet taking a blast from Mazzerin as well there in the end. Didn't fall, so that's all good from SKT's side of things. Look at the kill spread as well again after that one. 2-0-4 now on Impact Shen, 4-1-5 for Bengi, 2 kills in the mid for Faker, and a 5-1 for Ezreal here for Piglet. That is scary. Here's a fight again.
All right, so because SKT had collapsed earlier, GamingGear try and get Dragon and chew this one off. There's a good double taunt after Shen comes in. It was a beautiful, as well, ultimate there from Zyra, knocking them up and controlling them. But the Dragon's still low means that even after all the kills that SKT got, they also got that Dragon gold. So it was just an all-around win for SKT. And like I said, I think GamingGear bit off way too much because they had shoved down mid with very little resistance from SKT. They were fooled into thinking that they had the teamfight advantage and they could go for a Dragon before basing for Deadly Brothers Trinity Force. Meanwhile, the already completed Trinity Force and Lich Bane on SKT, too much damage output.
Scary. MBS there we saw taking so much damage from this Shen. Spirit Visage plus that Sunfire Cape in there for him right now as Faker pushes out that bottom lane as well. Top turret can't be contested either here for GamingGear. Two-man team able to pick that one up, and it looks like with those wards down, they're going to start to close in towards this mid lane.
With the amount of gold that SKT got from that last team fight around Dragon and the Dragon. Oh no, Mazzerin's going for it.
Yeah, Chum the wards goes down, but
good flash.
Yeah, gets
really
himself back towards safety there with that body slam plus the flash coming in. Faker though, you'll be happy with that. Your flash has gone down. They can keep pushing, and next time around, you're not getting away.
Very, very dangerous now as Faker's already heading towards that hourglass for the extra rotation that he can get off. SKT1 right now, since they have control of the entire map, all I have to do is ward up the insides of the jungle here from GamingGear and CS all the lanes until they get the cooldowns back for another one of those decisive team fights.
Look at Impact there over the top. In fact, forget that. It's Bengi coming around the side. Piglet was on the top as well. But this top lane, as I was mentioning, Impact so very strong with this Shen at this stage. Done brilliantly with his taunts. Stan United's all been in the right place at the right time. Meanwhile, Faker, he's not even hidden himself in this bottom lane. He literally stood there and waited for Mazzerin to start backing away. Goes in, he's now on the top side of the tower with the minions about to be taken down. And look at this, he's going to put the damage in onto Mazzerin. There is Shen coming around. Didn't really need him in the end. Impact and Faker again teaming up for the kill. They're going to do a lot of damage to this turret. They might even stick around if Impact tanks it up for the kill.
Yeah, Fizz is great at getting down poke damage even as a melee under a turret because he has so much mobility. Another engage here from SKT1 on the other side of the map.
Alania sliding in from this one, puts a Cataclysm down. Will it be enough to save MBS though? He's trying to run away. Alania, is he going to pay his price for it? There's a crescendo from the side. They focus onto Deadly Brother. He will Valkyrie back to the tower. Piglet goes low. He's exhausted, but Bengi dives in. Also very low here. Inspiro takes a big hit, but in the end, no kills. But look at the bottom lane. They're pushing. They're on the inhib.
That was 3 versus 4 up top, and SKT1 able to chase off GamingGear, allowing Faker plus Impact to take down the inhibitor turret. Their base has already been breached.
Base is breached. There we saw Inspiro, or didn't see really Inspiro going down, but I'm sure it wasn't that entertaining anyway. Bengi just getting straight in there. That's a 5-1-5 buy. Look at this though. Deadly Brother goes straight in over the top with a Valkyrie, trying to chase down Piglet, who's already very slippy. There's a bomb landing. Mazzerin is coming in there as well, but Ezreal, being Ezreal, will be able to escape.
Aatrox with his passive down is very vulnerable, and his dash is gone.
Yeah, 3 men on top of him right now. Chances of survival, 0. Faker gets that one. That's his 4th of the game right now, and 1 by 1, they're falling here, and Faker's not done. He's looking for more. Actually, he'll back away and recall. Oh, in fact, the entire team of SKT are going to recall. They've got plenty of cash to spend right now.
This is going to be a very difficult defend for GamingGear. Because that inhibitor turret is already down, SKT1, they don't even need Stand United available. If they wanted to, they could just walk down that bottom lane and force the fight at inhibitor. They can also clear out vision on any area of the map that they want right now and force GamingGear to come to them.
It's an 11,000 gold lead that SKT are currently sitting on. Those wards that were put down by GamingGear are going to be just as quickly taken away from around the Baron pit. And SKT, they don't even need to risk Baron, but in the same token, they can fight GamingGear if they come anyway. This should be a win-win scenario for them.
It is actually very dangerous for GamingGear to get next to this Baron wall because Faker can jump right over.
And there we go. Faker dives in. Deadly Brother, he's going to fall. Inspiro getting hit by the True Shot Barrage. Will have to back away. I see Alani is still in there trying to take down Mandu. But honestly, it's just a matter of time there as he gets knocked up. He gets taunted and finished off in the end by Piglet, who's now back on the killing spree at 6-1-5. SKT, they're going to go straight back into the Baron pit. This should be theirs.
Yeah, when you get this far ahead, you have the money to clear out the vision around Baron to force your enemies to come to you, and then you also have the items to back up the picks when they come to the edge of the Baron pit. Vi, Fizz, Ezreal, Shen, all can get right over there, and Zyra can throw her snare over the side, which is what she needs to get down. So very, very tough place for GamingGear to be in. At least GamingGear is able to answer with the Constellation Dragon.
An added bonus, or a little bonus, I guess we could say, not really added, just a bolt on to what happened a little bit earlier on. SKT, well, that gold lead is 12,000, 12,500 even at this stage of the game. We see that that's actually the first dragon of this game for GamingGear. We'll see if they can do anything to stay in this one. Right now, though, they're going to be on the defensive. SKT T1, they've got Baron on, they've got a massive lead in both gold and obviously then translated into the items. This is a dangerous time for GamingGear.
And they've got a massive lead with a team that has a guaranteed engage. They've got Vi backed up by Shen and Fizz the Assassin. Like I said, very good at poking under turrets even though he's melee.
Wow, that's Alan here. Two-shot barrage comes across there. And just that combo almost taking him down. Faker moved in as well. Suddenly Dancer's back, and all that time has managed to pick themselves a turret. Faker actually uses Zhonya's there, but Mazzerin didn't explode the barrel till the Zhonya's actually came out, and he took the damage for it anyway. Never mind, Faker goes back. Rest of SKT still hanging around there. Shen still pushing this bottom lane out. There's not a lot left in this game for GamingGear. And they continue to push as well there on the steps, and there's so much on the back foot here, and SKT, honestly, they're going to have to make a big mistake. Probably even more than one mistake at this stage.
Everyone always talks about, you know, the huge spikes that Fizz gets when he gets his Lich Bane, but it only gets scarier from there, because like I said, that adds another AP ratio onto his kit, which means the later the game gets, the more scary he gets. He can chunk people down even under turrets at this point and get out unscathed. It's so dangerous for GamingGear to even get close to him.
And there we see it. Alania almost hundreds as it, well, is taken down in
it wasn't on screen, but that was basically what I was talking about.
All the rest of them going into this one, though. We see Inspiro going solo. He'll be finished off by Impact. The rest of them, they're underneath the two Nexus turrets right now. Impact not caring about that whatsoever. SKT have taken down two men. They may look to get their second inhibitor from this one. They probably will get it with this as well.
Shen United here is going to protect Faker, but they won't actually re-engage on Mazzerin. This is going to be two inhibitors down, though. SKT with a massive lead.
Massive lead, and I'm not sure if GamingGear can even think about going for the fight again. Taunt comes down onto Deadly Brother, and with that regen that they're grabbing from that Baron buff right now, they're leaving the base with only Faker remotely low from that last engagement.
They're going to rotate over to the top here. They feel like they want to clear out every single lane. Faker's going to go spend his... Oh, it's only 900 gold there. So they're actually not going to get a whole bunch by him basing. He goes back for Home Guards. Was that the upgrade he just purchased?
Yes. Home Guards picked up there. Which
they don't actually need that at this point.
Not particularly, but he's full health now at least when he comes back into the action. You can see that all those pink wards down, and wards giving him complete vision control over GamingGear's base with that Baron still running on them. Not too much time left on it though. GamingGear have slowly but surely lost a big portion of that base. Only
Now,
the one turret still left in that top lane.
Faker isn't with the rest of the team right now, and GamingGear are kind of at that point where they're like a caged animal. They know they don't have much hope left, so they'll make a reckless move right now, and they will go for this Bengi Piglet duo that's standing up by the turret. It's one of the only moves that they really have left, is hoping for a Mazzerin ulti, someone by themselves into turret, and capitalizing very quickly. Other than that, it's really SKT just pushing in for the win.
Well, at this stage, that Fire and Buff has now run out. Deadly Brother trying his best to spam his abilities and get them away from those Nexus turrets. The final final inhibited turret will be focused and finished off. There is Impact going in. Stranglethorns knocked 2 of them up. They're not going to escape from that one. Now they go on towards Mazzerin. He heads back off towards the fountain, and MBS becomes the focus. But they're going to go in towards these Nexus turrets. The first one going to go down. Alanir goes straight in there. They pick 1 kill up, but they're probably going to pay the price of the rest of them for this one. NBS using his passive there to stay alive for a little longer. Mazzerin, though, the only man left alive. They're diving him here right underneath the fountain. There's the last second on it from Faker. He does go. No, he doesn't die in the end. Just about survives. SKT finish off the Nexus and the game. Brilliant performance. They pick themselves back up.
Yeah, that was a very clean little initiate there by Mandu at the end. But SKT really, after the mid-game team fight there, where GamingGear basically forced the issue themselves. After SKT1 got that lead, they never let it go.
Yeah, not making too much hard work of it, I think. And you see that shake of hands between these two teams. Very respectful, sportsman-like behavior as you would have come to expect at this stage of things. And GamingGear, that's another loss for them. Mazzerin still got a smile on his face at this point of things, and we talked about this yesterday, that for the likes of GamingGear and Manesi, who don't have really any major stage experience, even if they were to come here and end up losing every game, the experience is something that they can use moving forward to when you look towards Season 4 even.
Yeah, these guys do have a really good attitude about it, and they are increasing incrementally in skill level. They're getting off some very good mid-game team fights against these world-class teams, so this is literally the best practice that you can ever have in League of Legends.
Well, another big win there for SKT T1. We're going to head over to Riven, the crew, for a breakdown of that dominating win.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and it's actually one of the games that we kind of thought would go the way it did, coming out of coming out of picks and bans for their champions. It was really something different actually coming in for Faker that we noticed, is that Fizz pickup.
Yeah, and this is really a testament to SK Telecom's versatility here, because actually that's the first time Faker's ever played Fizz in a professional match, and that is his 19th different champion in 51 professional games, so that gives you some idea of the scope of his champion pool. And it's also only the 3rd game that Piglet has ever played on Ezreal, so they're trying to mix it up here, trying to get some different strategies in, and I think that's a good sign.
It really surprises me that he would pick something new and show it against GamingGear that like other teams in the group are going to pick up on, oh, he plays Fizz, but at the same time, I think he might just be flaunting his huge champion pool, being like, I'm Faker, I play everything, and I'm good at everything.
I just think it's the opposite. If you have a chance, if you get into a game where you're top favorite to win and you have a little bit of leeway, let's face it, they're outclassing the other
I'd
team.
agree with
With
that.
all respect to GamingGear, you cannot like discredit that SKT1 is like a giant compared to them. And this gives you a little bit of leeway to try new champions, still at a world-class level in front of the crowd, like the same setting, just to introduce something new.
But not only that, I think it's actually good to use it because at this point you're saying, hey, look what Faker can play, and you may not have thought it's a threat before. That's another ban that Faker can absorb right now, and I think it goes further in the mind games that way.
Yeah, specifically with the Ahri Fizz play we've been seeing so much of, and people trying to pick Fizz against Ahri, even though it hasn't been scaring people off the counter pick as well, it could just be another thing that adds to Faker's repertoire.
And just one more thing about that game, with these picks, with the definitive win that was found, it was a slow start there for SKT. They kind of put their hard hats on before really going full force.
I think at the beginning we still saw SK Telecom being a little shaky in that game. They were over-aggressive at times, but really when it came to that Dragon fight, you could see how well, Kobe was talking about the power spike that they got with Trinity Force and Lich Bane. They knew it was a great time to fight. And not only that, but their team fighting was virtually immaculate. When they came in with the Assault and Battery, it chained perfectly into Vault Breaker, then into Shentot, then into Zyra. And so that chain CC, that's what we expect from SK Telecom, and that's what allowed them to take the Dragon and 4 kills, and Gaming Gear got absolutely nothing in return.
All right, so with that game, now let's take a look at the Group A standings. With their win, SKT has taken control of second place, at least for now, while Gaming Gear is looking for their first win here at Worlds, still 0-3. So all week long, we've been talking about what kind of impact Faker can have on a game, and now we want to know your answers to our Twitter question earlier. We asked you, which pro do you think is making the biggest impact on Group A and why? And here's what you had to say. JLOH14 says, I think Loveland is making the most impact on Group A. His aggressive early ganks allow OMG to gain a lead and snowball from there.
Ironically though, his not so aggressive ganks made him also get a lead in the Lemondogs game because he completely dodged Dexter camping out. I actually met up with Dexter during this game and he's like, yeah, I will camp top lane for like a minute. But where was he? And yeah, we explained to him he was mid, so Loveland like next level reads.
All right. Mnemonic C or Mnemonic G says, Dyrus is the most impactful player in Group A. If TSM has a rough time, he's going to be the one to keep their heads in the game. How do you guys feel about that?
I think Dyrus is a very consistent player, but I wouldn't say that he is the most impactful. He's not a big playmaker. He's more of just like a rock that will always do well, always like carry out his job. I feel like Dyrus is really strong, probably one of the best top laners in his group. But to say he's most impactful is, you know, a little questionable.
All right. Bossa Nova, sweet name. I think Dexter will have the biggest impact. If he can get Nuke Duck and Tabs rolling, they're unstoppable, and I think we already saw a little bit of this.
Yeah, I mean, he was unfortunately not able to get Dexter and Nuke Duck rolling in. We were talking about the Lemondogs loss. Like, they've kind of had 2 losses to spend here, and they have to run the table from here on out. And Dexter, he can't get, I guess, red like they were in that past game, because even though they first picked Elise,
I doubt
because
it was red though.
You said it was a next level read, Crepo.
Yeah, okay. Damn it, I got put on the spot there.
Yeah, but if it's an Elise that you're first picking, he needs to have a larger game impact than he did in that last game, because they gave up Kennen for that, which was very valuable.
All right, our next winner and answer, Nick CSGRV says, Faker is making the biggest impact so far. Even when SKT loses, he is still bringing a completely new level of play, and that was just reflected on his face.
Yeah, he's the ace of that team, but don't count Piglet out. Even though Piglet really didn't get rolling on day 1, he did have a higher KDA than Faker over the course of the season in Korea. So keep an eye on him as well, because he can carry very hard, and his teamfight positioning is frequently excellent.
I'm just hoping that, even though it was about Faker, Piglet needs to play his core champions again. He needs to be playing Caitlyn and Vayne. We've had this problem effectively with Ozone, where we saw Imp, the Vayne Caitlyn player, trying to change off to Corki and Ezreal in this really short time frame, and it hasn't worked out so well for him.
Well, there was a Kate ban last game, and I know these guys were talking about going Vayne into Corki as not being an ideal matchup. So I think that's probably why one of the reasons why we saw that shift.
All right, so with those 5 answers locked in, our social media experts actually found one last one straggling along. And this one is from Scumbag Crepo. He says, I think Impact will have the biggest impact in top lane. Get it? Really?
Yeah. Well, I had to try.
I don't get it.
No, you don't get it? I'll explain to you later, Peter. I just really wanted to win something. I mean, after losing all those predictions, I just wanted to try and win, and I felt like I really had that one.
Is it winning when you just call into production and say, guys, made a tweet?
No, that's losing.
We'll make sure
that never happened, Jed. I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll make sure you get a seat in the front of the crowd, and somebody will throw you a Ziggs bomb later.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. So congratulations to everyone and the winners of the Logitech Gaming Mice. Those are some impactful tweets, and yes, I know impactful is not a real word.
So please keep hitting us up with any grammar mistakes Riv may or may not make with your picks for the players who will make the biggest impact in Group A. We're at LL Esports, and be sure to use the hashtag Worlds.
All right, guys, it's time for the Fearsome Foursome here at the desk to lock in their picks for Game 3. The Team Solo Mid versus Lemondogs. We already heard the cheer from the crowd as Team Solo Mid walked out on stage. Gentlemen, Crepo, take it away.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was expecting something else there. I'm going with Lemondogs here. As much as I'd like to see TSM bring back a game.
Ooh, you got a boo.
I'm getting booed.
It's going to be a lot of that.
It's not my day, is it? I keep losing prediction. The crowd's booing me. But at least I got my tweet on the screen.
It's a small victory for you, dude. TSM knocked my team out of Worlds, so I'm going to go ahead and say Lemon Dogs. Boo. Boo, dude.
Love for the Lemon Dogs so far. Mani?
I'm going with Lemon Dogs too. I think they looked really strong against OMG. They're getting better and better as the tournament... Oh! I hear the crowd. Double lift, Scumbag Crackpo, Monte Cristo, DSM. Nice chant, guys. Nice chant.
Thank you.
That's quick.
That was
I feel like you planned that beforehand. But really, I have to go with Lemon Dogs as well. I still feel like they could have won that matchup against OMG, and just based on the results we've seen in this group so far, and honestly watching TSM throughout the entire split, I don't feel like they're on the level of play right now of Lemon Dogs is. They can come together briefly for small stretches of time, and then it seems like they fall back off again. And if they had a miracle against Lemon Dogs here and just kind of came back together to beat them quickly, the odds aren't with them, and that's why I'm going with Lemon Dogs.
Yeah, and in all seriousness, Lemon Dogs is performing really well. I mean, even in their losses, you can see they're not like, it's not a stomp. They're playing really well.
They had the game.
Yeah,
at one point they had the game.
Lemon Dogs is really good at controlling the pace of the game with their like kind of assassin-y team comps. I feel like they'll have an easy time against TSM just because it's unorthodox for NA to pick something like that, and also Nuke Duck versus Reggie is going to be, I feel, really hard for Reggie because Nuke Duck is just so good.
We actually noticed that I saw when I was walking around that a few of the TSM guys weren't really even watching the games that their teams they were going to play against. What is it for you guys to know that you have a few games and you're going to be playing against the same teams? Are you in your seats watching that game happen? Crepo Double?
It all depends on like what your personality is, because you can't, even though you say like, oh, they weren't really watching it.
Right.
Maybe that's just them getting their head clear. Because I mean, expecting for World Finals, your research is probably done before the day you're actually playing.
For sure.
You can always pick up some last-minute tendencies, but they probably want to clear their head, stay like away from the games, and then when they go up on a stage, they're nice and clean to start.
At the same time, though, it's really important to see how somebody's playing that day, because tendencies will roll over from game to game, day to day. Sometimes you can change a habit from a week to a week. If you're looking at Lemon Dogs at the playoffs or something like that, if you see what they do today, it's really a good indicator of what they're going to do against you. So I don't see any reason for them not to watch Lemon Dogs.
And as a coach, too, of CLG, I would encourage my players to watch the games before the matches.
Thanks, Coach Monty.
Should have done it a little more, though.
Ooh.
So maybe. Should I have?
There you go. At least being humble about it. So to each his own in the preparation of a game. Right now, we have to take a short break, but when we return, Reginald and team Solo Mid take to the Rift for their first game of the day when they battle Nuke Duck and the Lemon Dogs. Plus, SKT's world-class mid laner Faker will join us to talk about their 2-1 start to the tournament. Don't go anywhere. The Season 3 World Championship live from Los Angeles. We'll be right back.